On today's episode, we're going to be looking back at 2016, the best and worst releases for video games, TV shows, and movies. Hold on to your butts. Welcome back to We Sound Like Nerds. I'm John.
This is Kyle.
And I'm Jordan.
And today we're going to be talking about what I talked about in the intro, best and worst of 2016. But before we get to that, we have some sad news. We lost a icon in film and nerdom in general. Carrie Fisher passed away last week. Kyle, what memories do you have of Carrie Fisher?
I think it's always going to be in my brain as Princess Leia in the slave bikini outfit. So no matter what happens, I'm always going to think of Carrie Fisher as that. Not to, like, objectify her, but just as, like, an amazing Star Wars character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she do anything other than Star Wars? After Star Wars?
She had, like, a hard time finding work after Star Wars because everyone, saw her as Princess Leia.
Yeah.
I recall the small bit that she did in the Blues Brothers movie.
She did
shooting a machine gun at Jim Belushi. No, John Belushi. No.
John Belushi.
No, Jim
Belushi. Jim Belushi.
Jim Belushi. No, John.
John
is in the Blues Brothers.
Yes, John Belushi.
Did Jim make a cameo?
Yeah, yes. No, I don't know. I haven't seen Blues Brothers in a long time.
Yeah,
I've never seen it.
It's been a long time.
She also had a cameo in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, really?
She's a nun, and it's very funny. So did Mark Hamill, oddly enough.
Did he? It's been so long since I've seen that.
He plays Cockknocker.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. I remember that now.
One of his best performances.
I think he did the Joker voice, too, didn't he? It was pretty close to the Joker voice.
Yeah, for Cockknocker.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Carrie Fisher, to me, it affected me more than I thought it would when I found out that she passed away.
It's because you're a good person.
Yeah, that or because she was, like, the first female that I felt like, whoa, what's going on here?
Women have power?
Yeah, that and, like, what are these feelings I'm feeling for this woman? She's, she's telling Han Solo, like, telling him off, and she's being this bold person. She's throwing out one-liners like, get this huge walking carpet out of my way. And she's talking to Chewbacca. And Chewbacca famously will rip your arms off out of your sockets if, you beat him at...
Hollow chess?
Yeah, I can't remember the actual name of it.
I don't recall either.
Does that happen?
No, but it's a threat that Han Solo tells C-3PO in A New Hope when they're playing.
I think he references to Finn, too, in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
About ripping the arms off.
One of the million callbacks to New Hope in Force Awakens.
There you go.
She'll always be Princess Leia, even though she did good for the bipolar community and bringing awareness to mental illness. And she had problems with drugs and alcohol, and she'd be the first to admit it. But I thought she always handled herself with class whenever she did interviews and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a great loss, especially after all of the actors and actresses that we lost this year.
So what do you think this means going forward for the storyline of the new sequels? Yeah,
so... I'm a little bit worried because of what they did with Tarkin and her in Rogue One. We'll preface this with spoilers. Tarkin is in Rogue One, and so is Carrie Fisher's likeness. They've done it before with actors that pass away. They did it with Paul Walker in Fast and Furious.
Marlon Brando in the Superman movie.
Yes. And that... it's kind of a hologram. It's not like...
Yeah. And
we were talking about how a hologram Tarkin would have been maybe more believable than what we got. And technology is going to get better. So, is it family members that are taking advantage of their famous loved ones? Or, is it actually necessary for the story? With her, she was done filming everything for episode 8. So, for episode 9, we're still like 3 or 4 years, I think 4 years away from episode 9. So they have time to either get better with technology to put her in, or they'll have, some good send-off for her at the end of episode 8. But Kyle, what do you think?
About that, I'd read a small article about how actors are starting to put things into their contract saying, you can't use my likeness, things like that. So they've already gone to trying to, like, kind of curb this a little bit. So
Right.
I don't know. Who knows how it'll go in the
And
future.
there's even studios that are putting in you have to be digitally scanned.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
The
kind of
reverse
the
of
battle
that,
between
so-
agents.
So
Wow.
your likeness could be used down the road.
Didn't them fighting that kind of all start with the guy from Back to the Future? The guy who played Marty's dad? Because he's actually not in. He's only in the first movie.
Yeah.
But then they basically, like, put in a guy who looked exactly like him or something in the second one.
Crispin Glover.
Yeah, didn't this all start kind of with Crispin Glover? back in the
Marty's
day?
dad. I don't remember. I don't know much about the Back to the Future history. I know that Marty McFly was actually the redheaded guy from Pulp Fiction, and they shot almost 90% of the movie with him before realizing that he wasn't right for Marty McFly.
Yeah, yeah.
So
They had to reshoot everything with Michael
Yeah,
J. There's-
that's
you
Michael
can
J.
find
Fox.
pictures and
Because
stuff.
that's a
if
break
you,
for him, yeah.
Michael J. Fox was doing, was it Growing Pains or Silver Spoons that he was in?
Silver Spoons.
Silver Spoons during the day. So he'd have to come in and shoot his scenes for Back to the Future during the night. And
Jeez.
yeah, Eric Stoltz. Eric Stoltz was the original Marty McFly.
Oh, really?
And he's been in a lot of stuff since.
Yeah.
But yeah, 90% of the film's done, and then they say,
Yeah, we're not going to use you.
you're not right for this, we don't think. That's got to be hard.
Yeah.
Ironically,
Still get paid, right?
yeah. Ironically, the same thing happened with Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings. They had actually cast Aragorn's role.
Wasn't it? I heard the rumor that Nicolas Cage got cast as Aragorn and turned it down. Or was that a different role? Maybe it was something in The Matrix. And that's why he does all these shitty movies now. He's like, you never know what's going to go big now, so you got to do them all.
Wow.
But I thought it was Aragorn.
The dragon?
No.
Aragorn.
Sorry.
Aragorn from
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Viggo
Mortensen. But yeah, anyways, they only had like a week before they needed to start shooting Aragorn stuff. And they called up Viggo Mortensen and were like, hey, can you do this movie? And he had never read the books or anything, so...
Yes, Kyle, you are correct. Nicolas Cage was offered the part of Aragorn, but turned it down.
Oh, man.
But...
I could not see Nicolas Cage as that spot, though.
No, but, they do that with a lot of roles. Like, 30 actors almost played the Amazing Spider-Man
Oh, really?
when they were casting. Because they had cast Aragorn too young. And back in, let's see, this would have been like 97, 98. I don't think Nicolas Cage was too young to play Aragorn.
Nicolas Cage was born in 1964. Side note, Nicolas Cage is one of my celebrity sightings in my life.
No way.
Where'd you see him?
When we went to New York for my 8th grade field trip, DC/New York, we were walking down the street and we got up to this barricade and they told us we had to walk on the other side of the street because they were filming a movie. And so we're walking down the sidewalk and we look across the street and there's Nicolas Cage and the blonde guy from the first National Treasure movie filming.
Sean Bean?
Yeah, filming.
Who
He's
died
also in
almost...
Lord of the Rings.
Hey,
Yeah.
we came full circle.
Yeah, it's the 7 Degrees of Bacon, just without Kevin Bacon.
Just with Nicolas Cage
you
instead
go.
of...
7 Degrees of Cage.
It's the 7 Sides of Cage.
Yeah. It's almost an octagon. Speaking of an octagon, Ronda Rousey
Holy
boy.
crap, man.
knocked the hell out.
Hey, we're talking sports. We're in my department, finally.
Yes. I feel bad for Ronda Rousey because, I think she gets a lot of heat. But, yeah, she could kick any one of our asses.
Oh, easily. It'd be a fun fight, though.
Viggo Mortensen, side note, is actually 6 years older than Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, but they could fix that in makeup. He looks pretty young in Lord of the
He
Rings.
looks old in his picture here from 2016.
Even the Mona Lisa's falling apart.
But continue your thought about Ronda Rousey getting heat since I cut you off.
Oh, she lost so fast, and it's like, oh, look at, she's such a wash-up. Ronda Rousey brought credibility to UFC for a lot of people. I still don't watch it because
$50 for a pay-per-view of
yeah,
a 48-second fight.
not
See, that would
exactly
be one of
worth
those
it.
letdowns.
Not really good for selling point.
Hey, did pizza come? maybe. Laura's walking through the studio. We ordered pizza.
This is becoming a weekly thing now.
It is. It's all right, though. She's cute. Should we move on to the best and worst?
Sure.
All right, so let's move to best and worst games of 2016. Here we go. Jordan, what was your best and worst
Well, you're going to put me on the spot?
Yeah, we're going to go counterclockwise. And it's not really...
The people listening don't know
You are here.
where we're sitting.
You've put yourself on the spot by appearing on the episode.
Okay, well, I'm going to go by when I started playing a video game. And technically, the disc version of this game did come out this year.
Physical retail copy of...
Rocket League. Nothing better than playing soccer with remote control cars.
See, are they remote control cars?
See, that's the problem of when you're describing this game to people is I never know if I should call them remote control cars or just regular cars. Is it a huge ball or is it a small car?
It's a huge ball.
That's how you
think
look
it's a
at
huge
it?
ball, yeah.
So a person could fit in the car you're driving?
Yeah. Because it wouldn't make sense, because there are people in the stands cheering.
That are tiny.
Well, yeah.
You can't even see them.
How would they fit into a remote control car? That's a very tiny person, if we're talking about remote control cars.
You have a good point there. So yes, it is a normal size car.
So
I never thought about it that way.
It's-
You cleared up a huge question for me.
There you go. It's basically indoor soccer with cars.
Yep.
3v3,
It's
2v2.
incredibly fun.
It is quite
Especially when
addictive.
you're playing with people you know.
It's not fun if you've taken a 6-month break.
Oh yeah,
and
no.
tried to play
That
it.
happened a couple months ago. I took about 2 months off. You lose your ranking. It just messes you all up.
Terrible.
And if you're not playing with people you know, you get stuck with these 12-year-olds who take it way too seriously and start typing in chat about how they're gonna
Do things to you.
do things to you and your mom.
That
And
would be criminal.
yeah.
Yeah. Rocket League. Kyle, you ever play Rocket League?
I did not. I've spectated several times, but never actually picked up the controller myself.
Okay. Yeah, because people in your household play.
Over at other people's places too. I've seen a couple different people playing it. Looked like fun.
It is fun.
It is fun. John actually got me into it.
Games are pretty quick. There's a bunch of customization options. Like you can get a Pip-Boy antenna bopper thing.
Sweet.
Yeah, they're always coming out with updates for like there's a Christmas version or whatever. You could get Christmas tree topper and stuff like that.
I think it did well because the month it came out, this was probably back in 2014.
It came out 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and I'm
It
just
could've been
finding out about it.
2015 maybe. It came out on PS Plus for their free game of the month. So that
Ooh.
really boosted popularity with it because people who missed that, all of their friends were playing it and they're like, dude, you got to get Rocket League. And it came out in the middle of summer too, which is weird.
Yeah,
You usually see companies that think their game will do well release closer to the holidays, but being that it was a digital release, maybe that's the reason they did it that way.
yeah.
Kyle, what was your best game of 2016?
I realized that I played so very few games that actually came out this year, but the one that I've had the most amount of time on was Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So that one was
We talked about that last
a
week.
little bit, yeah. That was one of my anticipated ones, and I still keep wanting to finish Fallout. So I got to give an honorable mention to some of the DLC, like Far Harbor. Real fun, kind of expands the horizons of the Fallout, gives you some more terrain to tromp through.
And Deus Ex is a much more linear experience for an RPG game than
Much
Fallout,
more,
right?
yep. But I mean, I've been a fan of it since the original one back on the PS2, so I kind of want to keep going with it, see where the story goes, and
The original Deus Ex was on PS2?
yeah.
Okay.
The
I thought it was
Conspiracy, I
just-
think it was.
Okay. I thought it was just a PC.
Ah,
the
no,
first one.
yeah. Because that was my first foray into the whole, like, RPG type, kind of like, it's what got me into Morrowind, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a weird way to
Isn't it?
leapfrog.
Yeah. Well, at the time I had a PS2, and I just then got an Xbox for, I think, Halo 2, and then I think my little sister was like, you got to try this Morrowind game, and boom, hooked after that.
Sweet. I don't remember why. I played Morrowind at my friend Tom's house, and it was one of those games where you could level up your guy by jumping.
Yeah.
And so I was just jumping up and down, and like I killed this guy outside his house, so then I started living in his house and stuff.
Yeah.
Never got anything accomplished, but that's
Classic
my Morrowind.
takeover technique.
Yeah, that's my Morrowind memories. Jordan, you never played Deus Ex, did you?
No idea what that is.
You should. It's good. It's about a Deus Ex.
Which is basically a plot twist for like a play or something. I read the actual definition of what Deus Ex. It's usually Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah.
So it's Deus Ex Machina is an unexpected power or event saving a seamlessly hopeless situation, especially as a contrived plot device in a play or novel.
So do you basically go through the game trying to save something? Or...
It's pretty linear, so it's not like a whole lot of choices in terms of good or bad. I think there are multiple endings, but it's more of a lesser of two evils sort of thing. Yeah,
Okay.
It's basically like augmented people versus normal people. There's like a growing trend of distrust between them.
Okay.
Along the lines of Deus Ex, I finally watched, I don't know which version it was, but it was an animated version of, obviously it was an animated version.
No.
I don't know what version it was, which director's cut or whatever, but I finally finished Ghost in the Shell. I know I've watched parts of it through high school and college, but I don't think I actually watched it beginning to end. And that's a lot of cybernetic people, and when I played Deus Ex, that's the feeling I always got from it.
It's a beautiful anime too, like good animations.
Yeah.
So, John, what was your favorite game of 2016?
Thank you, Jordan. My favorite game of 2016 was Overwatch. I've talked about it several times on the show. And it is Blizzard's first-person shooter. They've made the Warcraft games, StarCraft, Diablo, World of Warcraft, and now they've stepped into the first-person arena. And it is both great and super frustrating because of, it's a team-based game, so you have to rely on complete strangers. But the cast of characters that they've designed and the animation that they've put on in shorts and stuff, in promotional items, it could be a cartoon. I mean, it looks beautiful. It looks like a Pixar movie. It's the most fun I've had playing a competitive game since the days when my buddies and I would go to like LAN centers and play like Counter-Strike and Unreal and the original Team Fortress Classic. It's a ton of fun. And they keep coming out with new stuff. They just had the Christmas event, so Zenyatta got this really creepy Nutcracker skin. I was comparing it to the Burger King's King, the plastic,
King? Yeah,
plastic scary face guy, but in like Nutcracker form. It's pretty great. We're also going to talk about the worst games of 2016. We'll go reverse order, so I'll start. So Jordan has time to think of what was the worst game he played this year. Mine was actually a tie. It's a tie between No Man's Sky and The Division. They were both letdowns for me, but I think No Man's Sky actually edges out Division because I was expecting so much more, and if it was or was not hyped because of my own anticipation for the game, or if Hello Games actually did that on purpose, who's to really say? Division I played, and it had, solid mechanics and solid controls, but I don't really want to spend 5 minutes shooting at a guy. It's not very realistic, even though it's, they're trying to make it into an RPG. Shooting at, a normal soldier, kind of dumb. I didn't have anything good to say.
I was like, man, people miss all the time in real life.
Yeah. No, they're just, bullet sponges later in the game.
Oh, okay. So it's not just missing, it's like gotten...
You're hitting them.
Yeah,
It's just taking, 20 minutes to kill a boss character. So.
Yep.
Whereas No Man's Sky, a lot of potential, and it just kind of fell flat. It's a glorified mining simulator, which is fine, but it was weird that you couldn't create anything with the stuff you mined. With that Foundation update that they did a couple weeks back, they're starting to change some of those things. But on launch, yeah, that was definitely the worst game of 2016 that I played.
You don't get a second chance to make a first impression, though.
That's true. But yeah, if you picked it up now, maybe you'd like it more. For me, upon further review of the patch and stuff, it's not enough to bring me back. So that's a football term or sports term upon further review. Kyle, what was your worst game of 2016?
Being that I didn't play a whole lot of games from this year, my biggest letdown was 7 Days to Die. I mean, I wasn't expecting a whole lot from it, but it's just a lot more dull than I thought it was going to be.
Is that an indie horror title?
Yeah, it's like a basically Minecraft meets zombies sort of thing.
Oh, okay. And you have 7 days to die.
It's every 7 days there's like a horde that comes. So you got 7 days to, and there's, I'll call them walkers around, but every 7 days a big horde comes along.
Okay. Yeah. That premise sounds promising.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And I'm sure it'd be more fun if I had more people to play with, but it's just me roaming around this map. So I'm just like, and the draw range isn't very far. It's like...
You're notoriously against multiplayer games, right? Usually?
Not so much. I would just rather have a good, solid solo play.
Jordan, what was your worst game of 2016?
I'm kind of like Kyle. I didn't really play that many new games this year. Was sadly Pokemon Go.
Oh, that was your worst game? That would count.
I gave it a try, and just like kind of what the review said of once people caught everything they could and realized there was really nothing else to the game other than walking around and trying to catch these, that's why it fizzled out as quickly as it became a huge deal. So I guess going off of what I could find on the worst lists and what I actually even attempted, that's what I got to go with.
Pokemon Go.
It was a good trend while it lasted, though.
It was. It's still very popular in Asia and stuff. Where
I remember seeing a video of it was like 3,000 people just charging down the street.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for those special Pokemon. It definitely has dropped off in popularity. But I was expecting nothing, so Pokemon Go, it was alright.
You were expecting nothing from me? Wow.
No,
Thanks for believing in me.
I was expecting nothing from Pokemon Go.
Oh.
So it turned out alright for me. We're going to shift gears to television. We're going to talk about the best television that we saw this year. Jordan, what was the best television you watched?
Well, there's a couple different ones I kind of got into and I liked. I like what I've seen. I haven't finished Luke Cage. I have to put that out there, but I like what I've seen so far.
Pretty good.
I think I'm about 8 episodes in. I guess kind of a random one that I don't know if you guys are even going to know anything about, but I watched The People versus O.J. Simpson when it was on FX.
That was a good one.
And that was really interesting, of just a TV dramatic take on that whole case. I mean, I like the case. I watched the ESPN actually did a 5-part series of documentaries on it that were really good.
Yeah.
I would suggest you try to find those and watch those.
That was the first national televised court case, so
yeah,
that kind of changed.
That's what started Court TV, and so yeah, I mean, that case just always was interesting of dealing with sports, and so the dramatic series take was fun to watch.
Do you have any honorable mentions or runners up or anything?
No, that's about it.
Sweet. Kyle, what was your best TV of 2016?
I was kind of torn. Didn't really know which way to go with this, so I have pretty much a dead draw between Westworld and the season 2 of Daredevil.
Okay, yeah.
So I really couldn't decide which one was in my mind better. One's obviously, you got a lot more, I don't want to say story, but a lot more of a complex story in Westworld. But Daredevil, I mean, the action, John Bernthal as the Punisher is just... It was just too badass to pass up.
Yeah, Daredevil season 2 is kind of weird for me because it's the action in it is probably the best in the Netflix series so far. John Bernthal as Punisher is fantastic and perfect casting, but those episodes with Elektra just kill the momentum of the show for me.
Dragged on.
Yeah, for episode after episode. So personally, I liked it more than season 1 because we got Daredevil from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
in the suit. But yeah, I can see why you would be torn between that and Westworld. Westworld was really good, even though I stopped about halfway through because I don't know if it was just fatigue from watching all the nerdy shows that we watch, but finally getting caught up, I'm glad that I did finish Westworld.
I'd read a rumor, or not a rumor, but a theory that it was taking place on a different planet, not on Earth. I was like, maybe.
See, I thought it could have been like taking place on the moon.
Could be.
Because I think they said something about orbiting back.
Oh, really?
In one of the episodes, so that's why I was thinking maybe it's, off-world. Maybe not necessarily on another planet, but...
I didn't know we could include new seasons of shows that had already been on.
What do you mean?
I thought we were looking for shows that started in 2016.
No.
Like their first season. Otherwise, I would have talked about Daredevil too.
Your runner-up's Daredevil, season 2.
That's one of them.
Sweet.
Even though I couldn't think of any other ones, that's one of them.
It was just shows that aired in 2016. I thought I made this clear to you.
No.
There were clear rules.
Basically, I just looked, I was like, did it air sometime in 2016? All right, it's in my list.
Spring. I have one, I did pick a winner, and then I have a runner-up for best show of 2016. And the best show that I think aired in 2016 was Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. They're in the 6th season. It was the first season where the good guys actually won a couple things. If you've seen Game of Thrones at all, you know it's just season after season of bad shit happening to people named Stark or, friends of the Starks. But not relationships, but your attitudes towards characters that were there since season 1 have changed so dramatically that people you might have hated or thought were super evil in season 1, you now care about, as much as or more than characters that you met during season 1 that you thought, okay, these are the good guys. These are these are the people we're following through this journey. At times, I was worried that since the good guys are finally having a season where they're winning, I was like, can the bad guys win? Because this is getting kind of boring. I don't want all these payoffs to happen. And we still got, 2 seasons left, so don't really know where the show's going. But Battle of the Bastards is probably one of the best hours of television that I've ever seen. Hands down, you could make that into a movie and you could, sell tickets to it.
Was that the war scene?
Yeah.
You showed me a couple scenes from it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Based off of those couple of scenes you showed me, that was really badass.
Yeah. I don't know how long that battle goes during that episode, but it was, I was grabbing the edge of my seat, waiting to see what would happen. Because as people know, obviously we threw a spoiler tag at the start of this. Jon Snow died in season 5, and his, what was going to happen to him was unknown, and now we're in this climactic battle, and there was a couple moments where you were like, oh my god, he might have been brought back to life just to, lose it. 9 episodes on screen of all time for...
He wasn't in the books, or he was?
He is in the books. Battle of the Bastards actually wasn't the season finale. Episode 10 was, so... But yeah, it was very nail-biting. And to see Ramsay get his comeuppance at the end of that episode was great. He's probably one of the best television villains. I know he was in the books, but we're talking TV. Easily one of the best villains. Season 6 was the first season of Game of Thrones that didn't have a corresponding book because George R.R. Martin is notoriously slow at coming out with his novels. So it was nice for book readers to finally be as surprised as the show watchers because all of the stuff from the books have happened, since the 1980s. So
is he still going to continue writing the books, though, even though they're going to be ruined by the TV show?
Well...
Is he going to follow the TV show exactly?
That's up for speculation, basically, because the books aren't out yet. But he did tell the showrunners, he's getting up there in age. He's told the showrunners what his plans are on how to end it. So they kind of have a guideline for the show. But, he could knock off characters because there are characters in the show that are dead in the books, and there's characters in the books that are not dead on the show. That sort of thing, so...
A la Walking Dead type.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, who knows? I think I've only read the first book, Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones.
That was pretty funny that none of us chose The Walking Dead as yeah.
Best show.
I think it was that first episode of the season. It was just like, you know what, man, I got to take a step back from this for a second.
Just
That's what happened. I have not watched an episode since that happened. Like,
it was straight up demoralizing.
It does get a lot better.
Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah,
But-
you guys spoiled it for me.
Sorry.
Now we need to find something to spoil John about, since
I see
we spoiled
everything.
Kyle about Star Wars. Did you ever see Star Wars?
Yeah,
I did.
actually, and aside from the fact that I knew right away everybody was going to die, which, I mean, in movies like that, it really is, it's surprising when a character dies and you're just like, oh shit. But other than that, I felt like I knew more about what was going on, so I felt like I had a better grasp of the story.
Sure.
So I think in the long run it helped me out.
K2SO dying. It was emotional.
Alan Tudyk.
My runner-up show is actually on FXX. It's Man Seeking Woman
Oh my god.
with
I'm sorry.
Jay
I
Baruchel.
hate that show.
Oh man,
Oh, I cannot do it.
it's amazing.
I guess I don't really like his style of acting.
Okay.
Ugh.
I like him. One of my, I guess not top 5, but a favorite movie of mine is
She's
Out of My League.
TJ
Oh, it's
Miller.
so hilarious.
The thing I like about Man Seeking Woman, and the reason I didn't put it on top, because I understand it's not for everybody. Like, obviously you don't like his style of humor, but it is the most accurate dream-like show because he gets into situations on Man Seeking Woman that are just absurd, like absurdity on top of absurdity. In the first season, his ex-girlfriend starts dating someone new, and it's Hitler.
That's right. I think I saw that part. And
Yes.
I was like, what is going on
And
here?
it's literally Hitler when he goes to visit him. He's been reanimated, and there's situations like that where his sister sets him up on a date, and he's like, "Is she a troll?" And she's like, "No, she's not a troll. She's a literal troll." When he shows up, so she's like eating the flowers he got her, and he's like, "You look really nice," and she's like oinking at him, and. I don't know. I think it's hilarious, and Eric Andre's in it as well. He's got the Eric Andre show on Adult Swim.
Yep.
He does a lot of
that one. I
That's
watch it. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. It's so.
He
weird.
brings in celebrities and then makes them just as uncomfortable as.
I wonder if he
can
tells
get.
them what it's about before, because
I don't think he
sometimes their
does.
reactions are like,
Honest.
"Is this really going on? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell's going on here?"
Don't they know what they're getting themselves
That's
into?
what I'm wondering. Like,
Kind of, but I don't think they tell him all of the things that
Oh, okay.
he's planning on doing because he fucks with people a lot on that show.
Yeah, I've never seen that one. I've never seen Man Seeking Woman either. Sounds funny.
It's
I think I
hilarious.
would like
I
it.
think it'd be better for you to explain it to me.
Yes.
I'd laugh a little bit more then.
Yeah. So I've been watching season 2 because season 3 starts on January 4th. Because I've gotten behind on shows, so I'm trying to catch up on Hulu and stuff. Hulu.com, one of our sponsors this week.
Please.
Just kidding. Yeah, Hulu, please. We'll plug
We're
you.
giving you a shout out.
It was fine. Like, I liked first season, but I didn't really understand it because it's super weird. And then I realized, no, this is like how your dreams work. If you're
very
having a dream
fantastical.
and
Yep.
yeah, everybody thinks my girlfriend's new boyfriend is like Christ-like. He's gonna appear like he's actually Jesus, which happens in season 2. He goes, and Jesus is this girl he has a crush on's boyfriend. It's just really great. But yeah, that was my best TV for 2016. I will start off with worst TV of 2016, and it's not actually referring to the current season, but the previous season ended in 2016 and started up in 2016 as well, and that would be The Walking Dead. Season 6? Season 7?
I think they're on 7 now, right?
They're on 7 now. Season 7 is one of the best seasons of Walking Dead that we've had. Season 6, that last half that they gave us was some of the worst TV I've seen. There was a lot of empty episodes where nothing happened, and then they,
The
blue ball
ultimate
us.
cliffhanger.
Yes. Worse than the governor raid when the governor was gonna attack.
Yeah.
Season 3 or season 4.
That wasn't in season finale.
It
Might
Is
have
that
been
what you're
mid-season.
saying?
it was a season finale.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because he shows up to attack the prison, and then they just get turned away, and
Oh, and that's when he goes crazy and
Yeah.
shoots all the town people. Oh, okay.
yeah,
All
but
right,
we don't
yeah.
see that until the next season.
That's right.
It's just like, what the?
No, wait, I thought that was at the end of that season. think it was at the end of that season.
Because we don't see his
Because then
fall and return.
the first episode of that next season is him. It's like basically a governor centered
Yeah.
story, or the episode isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About how he comes back.
Yeah.
But worse than that was the kill shot of Abraham that we now know. But they don't tell us it's Abraham.
It would have been, like you had said it, I think, in one of our previous episodes, that it would have been best for them to have shown the full kill on Abraham.
Yes.
And then surprise us with Glenn.
Yes.
Because that would have been like, all right, we know what's going on. It's not like this whole, 3 or 4 months of us going, who's going to get it? Who's going to bite it?
Yeah.
Or, or not give us the POV of him getting his head bashed in, because we know subconsciously someone is dead.
Yeah.
So it's going to have less impact when we finally see, who it was. And yeah, you could have definitely surprised us with Glenn Reed's death at the start of season 7. But worst TV, Walking Dead.
Yeah, no argument here.
I was going to say I'm basically in complete agreement with that. I'll throw out an honorable mention of bad for, I don't know if you guys ever watched The Last Ship. You ever seen that one?
No, was that on ABC?
TNT.
TNT.
Yeah.
Okay.
So season 3 ended with, they had this guy named Tex in there, and he was just the coolest character ever.
What's The Last Ship about?
So basically, there's a brand new, I think it's a destroyer class battleship or something. I don't remember exactly, or destroyer class ship. And they go off to the Arctic to do some mission for 6 months. And when they come back, the planet's been ravaged by a plague. And, governments have fallen and all sorts of shit. So basically the first season's trying to find a cure. I think the second season's implementing the cure. And the third season's trying to build things back together, nation building.
Sure.
But yeah, just the fact that they killed off this Tex guy played by John Piper Ferguson.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just my favorite character. And when they killed him, I was just like, this sucks. I don't like this.
Screw this show.
But yeah, Walking Dead obviously trumps that one. But yeah, I did throw that one out there.
Jordan, you have any terrible TV this year? Or was it Walking Dead? Because you haven't seen an episode since that premiere, right?
Yeah,
There you go, man. It's just that one ruined it for me.
Walking Dead.
So that was why I didn't argue it when you were talking about it.
Sucked.
I guess a show that just didn't click with me was that seemed to click with a lot of other people was Stranger Things on Netflix.
Oh, okay. You didn't like it?
I watched the first 2 episodes and it just didn't interest me.
Did you finish it?
No, I haven't.
Wow.
I didn't read what the actual finale was, but I read that a lot of people didn't like how it ended.
A lot of people are stupid because I thought Stranger Things was some of the best TV we got this year.
I enjoyed it as well. We were children of the 80s, though. So
Yes.
I'm a 90s kid.
He's a 90s
yeah,
kid.
see, so seeing all this 80s era stuff, it's just I remember that stuff.
So yeah, Stranger Things, it proved once again that Netflix can put together a cast and a believable era of time. But yeah, I understand it's a show that it's one of those shows that gets popular, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah. And that's kind of just the alien genre.
Sure.
The aliens have never really interested me, I guess, as far as in movies go.
I thought it was a less threatening version of the X-Files.
Yeah.
With the alien stuff. Because for me, I'm kind of a pussy when it comes to scary stuff. I'll watch scary stuff and I'll say that I like it, but I like it for that adrenaline experience of oh my God. And there hasn't been really a show like X-Files since the X-Files where they would build it better than they didn't rely on jump scares basically for their show. And Stranger Things felt a lot like X-Files mixed with an 80s nostalgia marathon. So that's why I liked it. But yeah, I understand that it's not for everybody. That's why. We're going to mix it up for worst and best movies. We'll start with the worst movies because we've got to end on a high note for best and worst. Jordan, what was the worst movie you saw this year?
Worst was probably Office Christmas Party, which when I say worst, it's not terrible. I actually laughed out loud a couple times.
Sure.
But just for what I have to go off of. I love TJ Miller. He's as we talked about earlier, he's in She's Out of My League. He's hilarious in that. He's got some funny parts in this one. And yeah, it's laugh out loud, but you can wait to Redbox it.
Sure.
It's not one you need to.
That's tough with comedies in the theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How can you
exactly.
justify going to a comedy in the theater anymore? caveat in here. This is not the worst films, all of the films that came out this year, because we haven't seen all the films that came out this year.
Correct. This is what we have to go off
Yeah,
of.
so this is from what we've seen, in case you guys are looking for a legitimate list of best and worst. This is not your place.
Yep, you did not come to the right place.
No, definitely not. Kyle, did you have a worst movie of 2016?
Yeah, and I still enjoyed the movie, but it was a big letdown. It was the Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. Good parts here and there.
Something, colon.
Yeah. The lead up to the Justice League.
Yeah.
It just didn't have what I was hoping for.
No.
It was kind of, at parts, very, very slow.
That movie should have made billions of dollars with the two most recognizable superheroes of all time. I know Marvel has been really popular with, Iron Man and stuff, but fuck DC. Like, you have some iconic characters and you keep giving us like Transformers quality films. I do not understand it. What did you not like about Batman vs Superman though?
It's tough to pin something exactly. I think it's just the overall general tone of it. Like, it's because the story is. I've seen enough of the Batman cartoons where they kind of go through. It basically took about 3 or 4 of the different cartoons and threw a whole bunch of those together. Yeah, because there's elements from a lot of different ones.
Kind of haphazardly.
Yeah.
With what they did, because they did Dark Knight Returns, they did Death of Superman, they did 3 or 4 other storylines.
Yeah, and it was kind of a jumble of them. And and then it would flash over to Superman's perspective, or do a little bit with the Wonder Woman character and stuff like that. And it was like,
Didn't that I never saw it, but didn't that movie just kind of drag on? Like, wasn't it almost 3 hours long or something?
I think so. I think it was like, 2.
It was a long movie.
Yeah.
You had a non-convincing Lex Luthor in Jesse Eisenberg.
I didn't care for that.
You could play the drinking game, drink on flashbacks or dream sequences, because, goddamn, there are a lot of dream sequences and flashbacks. What's funny about it being the worst movie of 2016 for you, Bruce Wayne's parents in that movie are Negan and Maggie from Walking Dead.
Are they really?
It was Lauren Cohen?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they do the murder again because we don't know how Batman became Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
But his parents are murdered again in the alleyway.
It's a rider on the contract. You have to show his parents getting killed.
Yes. So yeah, it's Negan and Maggie walking arm in arm.
Yeah.
Down the street. Just kind of ironic because looks like he did take Glenn's woman.
Yeah, he did.
Clever.
I couldn't pick a worse movie for 2016, really. I did have Batman vs. Superman down. And then I'm just looking at all of the superhero movies now. We had Suicide Squad, which was not good. We had X-Men Age of Apocalypse, which was not good. We had
Horrible.
Batman vs. Superman, which was not good. And we've come to a point where like I really couldn't choose between Suicide Squad and X-Men Apocalypse, because X-Men Apocalypse, it's Bryan Singer again, and you could literally replace this with any of the X-Men movies he's done, because he just does the exact same movie with different characters, a little bit of a different storyline. But I would say Suicide Squad was a bigger letdown for me, because it was an interesting premise. You have heroes with no real superpowers. Basically, they're not, superhuman. None of these people could fight. It's funny, they talk about it in the trailer. What if Superman came down and ripped the roof off the White House? Well, none of these assholes could do anything about it. They don't have superpowers. Katana has the sword that eats souls.
Yeah.
And
I forget his name. He's got the face
El Diablo.
El Diablo. There you go.
He could, singe Superman maybe. But
that's true.
It's a bad analogy to use. Obviously you need it for the trailer or whatever, but it was, the best parts of that movie were Will Smith and Margot Robbie. But we have our, I think, 22nd supervillain movie where there's a beam of light getting shot into the sky, and there are hordes of CGI enemies that they have to kill, and that's your climax.
Yep.
So
standard superhero affairs.
Yeah. So, DC really needs to knock something out of the park. I think Dark Knight was probably the last DC movie that was worth both seeing it in theaters and then buying it on Blu-ray when it comes out.
They do seem to have the TV area secured. I mean,
They do. Let's not talk about Gotham. But
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there was a storyline recently that went between like 4 different shows.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
it
all
was like-
interconnected.
Yeah.
Arrow, not Supergirl. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Supergirl, Flash, and
There's-
Legends of Tomorrow, I think is
Is
their
that what
other
it
one.
is?
Legends of Tomorrow isn't very good, I've heard, but
I haven't watched any of them. I just read about it. And I was like,
my daughter likes Supergirl, and she's been watching Flash because her cousin watches it, so he kind of got her into that. But it's good for TV, basically. You know, it's all these CW shows that it's...
Well, you'd think they'd want to keep some continuity because it's a different person for the Flash TV show versus the Flash they had in the
Yes.
Batman Superman movie.
Yes,
So it's
and I've
I
heard...
like continuity. That's what I like.
that's the thing, Flash, there's like 12 different Flashes.
Is there?
Yeah.
I never got much into the Flash.
Yeah. Yeah, I've definitely been a bigger Marvel guy growing up, so... But anyway, Suicide Squad, Batman vs. Superman, Office Christmas Party, the worst movies of 2016.
As far as we go.
As far as...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but we're the only ones that matter. Everybody, the worst movies of 2016 are the ones that we talked about. Jordan, what was your best movie of 2016?
Let's see. My best movie. I had one picked out, and now I don't remember what it was.
It was Captain America Civil War.
I haven't seen that one. Do you want to talk about that one?
No, I don't. It's not on my list.
Well, I guess the best movie of 2016 that I saw that I liked had to be Rogue One, which we talked about
Last episode.
quite for a while last week, so I don't know how much we need to get into it.
Yeah, Rogue One was very good. I know it hasn't been keeping up the steam that Force Awakens did, but
Very solid movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
easily the best prequel that we've had.
Yeah.
It's technically a prequel.
I was gonna say, is it though? Because it's also a sequel if you're looking at it in terms of Revenge of the Sith.
But Revenge of the
So-
Sith is still a prequel.
Well, even that's true.
Even
All
though-
right, you got me. I'm done. That's it. I'm leaving.
I got you on a technicality, Kyle.
The best kind of getting.
I mean, I guess one we haven't really talked about that I saw that I really liked was Hell or High Water.
Okay. That was more of a limited release, right? Was that wide release?
I'm not sure, I guess.
I know it did well on like Rotten Tomatoes and stuff.
Yeah,
what was
that's-
that one about?
That was actually why I went to see it. It's got Chris Pine and Jeff Bridges are the two main guys in it. Chris Pine and his brother are bank robbers, just trying to get by. I think their mom may have died, and they're trying to get money to save her farmland or something. The state was going to take it away or foreclose on it, so they needed money to save it. And so they're going around robbing banks, and Jeff Bridges and his partner, they're basically tracking them down, trying to figure out what their pattern is, where they're gonna hit, and yeah, I mean it's just really good,
Kind of like
Drama.
a heist movie or more of a drama?
more of a drama. I mean, there's really not too much time spent on the bank robbery scenes. It's more building up the backstory and Jeff Bridges trying to track them down.
Sweet. I'll have to check it out.
Is that
Yeah.
like a modern one? Takes place in.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Kyle, what was your best movie of 2016?
It was early 2016, actually Valentine's Day, because I think he references it. But Deadpool, that's got to be my favorite movie I've seen so far.
That
this
was
year.
on my short list for this.
Yeah, it was. I mean, just everything about it, great. Laughs every couple minutes. Once again, T.J. Miller throwing down some heavy laughs.
Oh, he's on there too?
Oh
Yeah, he's
yeah,
in it.
yeah.
It's great.
Does the avocado joke is just.
Well, now this one I don't want you to ruin for me because this one I actually want to see.
We'll keep it brief.
Ryan Reynolds' wife is Blake Lively, and she's been doing some talk show circuits. I know closer to when the movie came out, and she was talking about how it's difficult talking about it because of his relationship that he has in the movie with his girlfriend,
Maria Baccarat.
Yes.
Oh, I love her.
and how like he gets mashed potatoes eaten out of his ass. And so like kids are coming up to her and they're like, "We love Ryan and Deadpool," and she's like, "Why are you kids seeing this? This is terrible." And having to explain, they have a young kid, so one day,
They'll have to explain all that.
yeah, or he's gonna end up seeing it. his dad in that position. So,
So,
anyways.
does he save his? Wouldn't you say he had a bad performance in the Green Lantern, or don't a lot of people think that?
I think he did
Or is that
what he
overblown?
could with Green Lantern. I rarely think it's the actor's fault when it comes down to a bad performance. You know, he has to. The director is directing.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, you know, the editors are editing, and the writers did write. So this
Yeah.
is what we got. Like, I think Hayden Christensen gets a bad rap for Anakin Skywalker
Yeah.
because he's a really good actor in other things
Yeah.
where the material's been better. You know, how can you make... I hate sand. It's so coarse. How can you make that believable?
Everybody hates sand. It's sand.
That's why he wasn't on the beach at Scarif at the end of Rogue One.
It gets into my mask. It gets everywhere. I've got to clean this out.
Anyways, so he's great as Deadpool. He definitely owns that character.
Exactly. I don't think you can cast better for that.
Yeah, and for superhero movies that, you know, we had a bunch this year. That's probably one of the top 3 for me.
And I think the reason it did so well is that he's not technically a superhero. I mean, he did his own thing.
Yeah.
He was the anti-hero, I think you call it.
Yep.
So, is he gonna be joining the Marvel? Like,
He's in the Fox universe, so Fox actually owns that character.
oh, he's not Marvel,
No,
or he's not.
yeah.
Disney-
Okay.
He's
was
not
it
Disney.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that would have flown with this.
no, no. So that's difficult because he's in the X-Men universe. That's why there's a couple X-Men that show up in that movie. So
Spoilers.
they're in the trailer.
Oh.
He was there when I got here.
So,
Dad?
and
Sorry, we're just throwing out jokes from Deadpool.
you're gonna ruin them all for me. Are we getting a Deadpool 2?
Oh, yeah.
Am I on a timeline here, needing to see the first one?
I think it comes out 20.
80.
If it's not later this year, it's next year.
Yeah, early next
Because
year.
we are now in 2017.
We are in 2017.
So you can say that.
Happy New Year's.
Yeah, Happy New Year's. The rumors got shot down that he was going to do a cameo in Logan.
Yes, he shot him down
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because when does Logan come out?
this year.
I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Deadpool 2 is scheduled for January 12th, 2018. So we're about a year out.
Yes. And that's difficult because they fired Tim Miller, the director.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds and him had creative differences, so
So are we thinking Deadpool 2 is not going to be as good as Deadpool 1?
I don't know.
How important was Tim Miller?
For the plot of Deadpool 1, there's not much to that movie.
Yeah, it's all
There's
pretty...
there's two set pieces.
The highway.
The highway and then the aircraft carrier.
Pretty much, yeah. That's true.
There's not really much plot-wise to that movie. I mean, it had more plot than Mad Max Fury Road.
Still a great movie.
Yeah.
Did that come out this year?
No, that was
Oh, okay.
last year.
All right, I was going to say, that'd definitely be my honorable mention.
Movie about people driving to a place and driving back.
Yeah.
Mad Max.
Mad Max.
It was kind of weird because, like, before it got announced that Tim Miller got fired, Ryan Reynolds had tweeted, "How do you want the climax of Deadpool 2 to go? Fight on a bridge or fight on a bridge?" And then after the news came out that he got fired, he took down that tweet.
Ooh.
So I wonder if there was something about Ryan Reynolds wanted to do the fight on the bridge again, and he didn't. So because we already got that with Deadpool 1, so maybe he wanted to take it a new direction, but who knows? Because Tim Miller moved on to other things. So my runner-up for Best Picture of 2016 is Midnight Special. It's a indie film about a kid with superpowers, and it's the best superhero movie I've seen this year.
I saw it was on my DVR, or it was on like one of the Showtime shows, but I didn't get a chance to record it.
Oh,
but
it is
definitely looks interesting.
amazing. As someone who has kids, ever since I had kids, I get extra emotional about kids in peril. And this is a kid with superpowers, needs help from adults to help him out. It's got Michael Shannon, Kirsten Dunst, and Joel Edgerton. Adam Driver's also in it, and he does
Oh,
Good work in
yeah.
it. I saw the trailer for it, and I'm like, man, if I ever see that in Redbox, I'm definitely going to check it out. Because since we live in the Midwest, we never get any cool releases in our theaters.
Nope.
Oh, was that a limited one?
Yeah, very limited. He also did Take Shelter and Mud. Take Shelter also had Michael Shannon in it, who's one of my favorite actors. Easily the best movie for me for 2016 is Arrival, directed by Denis Villeneuve.
Say that 3 times fast.
Denis Villeneuve.
Show off.
I know. I needed my sister who speaks French to tell me how to say his name because it's spelled like Denis Villeneuve or something. But
Oh, is that phonetic there?
that's phonetic,
Okay.
the way I wrote it down
I was
on the
like,
board.
is his name really Dekne?
No.
It's like the knee. Denny.
So it has Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, Forrest Whitaker. I think that's pretty much all the big names in it.
That was the one
And
where
that-
it was alien invasion or
First encounter.
First
with,
encounter.
with alien life forms, and it's not your big budget action movie. It's very much about how we are going to communicate with a new species from another planet, and that has a subplot with Amy Adams and her daughter, and it's not a movie that most people will like it for that, but for the communication part with aliens, because that's very interesting. But the stuff with her daughter, again with having kids and stuff, and having to we'll do serious spoilers for Arrival. I'm not spoiling anything big, but if you haven't seen Arrival yet and you don't want to know, they do a montage kind of like Up at the very beginning, if you saw Up.
Mm-hmm.
So
Of course.
it's a montage of her and her daughter, and her daughter grows up and gets cancer early and dies.
Ugh.
And then it moves on to... And as someone who's had to make medical decisions about a sick child who passed away, it was a movie that didn't talk to me, but screamed at me you've had similar conversations like this with people. You've experienced this, because they did amazing work. And Denis Villeneuve also did Prisoners and Sicario, which I've talked about. Arrival was easily the best movie I've seen this year. It might be one of my top 20 movies I've ever seen. It's that good.
nice.
So yeah, I highly recommend Arrival. And funny thing about Denis Villeneuve, he is directing both Dune and the new Blade Runner.
No way.
Yeah, so
Very cool.
He's definitely picking up some steam in Hollywood.
Sweet.
And you're really excited to see Dune, Kyle, right?
I did enjoy the old ones. Well, there was an old one, and then I think they did a remake on the Sci-Fi Channel, which it wasn't bad, but I mean, the old one, it's just something about it. It's also one of those good movies to take a nap to.
Sure.
So as much as you like the movie, if you're just I kind of want something to take a nap to, it's great.
That was Empire Strikes Back for me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd fall asleep to that whenever I had sick days in high school and stuff.
So the Arrival is the modern day Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
That kind of like Contact.
Contact. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely a slow burn of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they do some stuff, they go back down, they do some stuff, they go back down, and that's basically 2 hours of that. It was really, really good. I need to talk to someone about it now that I'm thinking about it again.
We should watch it.
So those were our best movies, worst movies, best TV, worst TV, best video games, and worst video games of 2016. Our next episode, we're going to cover our most anticipated of 2017, so you guys should stick around for that. But now it's time for your favorite segment, Nerd Out.
I've still got 12 hours worth of Doctor Who left. They did a big Christmas binge thing, so they had all the way back from, I think, David Tennant's first year as the Doctor up to now Peter Capaldi, and oh man, I'm just loving that. I love it.
More Doctor Who. Jordan?
I guess I'll talk about, I already talked about it as my favorite game of 2016. I'd kind of taken a break from Rocket League for a while, but then I got back into it recently, and I played that quite a lot over Christmas break and over the holidays, so
Been doing that.
yeah, I mean, check it out.
So my backlog was stuffed with more titles for PS4. I got Final Fantasy 15 that I'll have to start working on. Uncharted 4. I got Diablo 3 finally for PS4. I had it on PS3. On PS3, I must have dumped like 300 hours into that game. So looking forward to doing that again on PS4. Overwatch, and too much to do and too little of time to do it. So
Yep.
we'll be talking about, I'll be nerding out about those things until 2018 on this show. That covers it for Nerd Out.
Do we want to do the best sports?
Oh yeah, fuck, we forgot about sports.
I only have one. It's the only. I'm not a big sports person, so.
We're gonna shift gears to a new thing. I don't know how.
It's probably going to be a 1 week segment.
You mean one time segment?
One time segment. That's what I meant. 1 week.
The
we
one
do
and
this.
done.
We do this once a
We
week.
do this once. What was the best sporting event of the year, Jordan?
Best sporting moment.
Sporting moment. There we go.
It's a collaboration of two moments. It's got to be Cleveland finally getting a championship in basketball with the Cavaliers, and the Chicago Cubs finally winning the World Series in an awesome series. I'm a baseball fanatic though, so I'm kind of
You're kind of into that.
That was the only one I knew of was the Cubbies. Yeah. What is it? 108 years or something like that?
yes.
Yeah.
Well, since 2016. That was the last time. So
Yes, the last time before was 1908, I believe. So yes, 108.
long time. I'm not a baseball fan. I'm not a basketball fan, so I didn't have like a big sporting event. I do have a sporting event I'm looking forward to for 2017, and I got tickets to a Wild game. that I'll be
Nice.
going to.
Hey-o.
So
Should be a good one.
pretty excited. They're playing the Predators, and we'll see how that goes because I like hockey.
And they're
Like-
finally doing well.
They're doing really well. They did lose last night to Columbus after a 12-game win streak, so that's a franchise record, though.
But Columbus has a 15-game win streak, so
Yes.
at least they lost to someone respectable and not like.
Well, are they really respectable? I know they're doing good this year, but
Aren't they in first in the Metro?
they are. But they've historically been
Well,
a garbage team, so.
Minnesota teams usually have a tendency of pissing things down their legs, though.
Yeah, so I don't know how much we're going to talk about this, but the Wild they're like allergic to December. They are never good in December. They go on 7-8 game losing streaks in December. This is the first December where they've won. I think they won every game in December.
Nice.
So that's pretty good to see.
well, they played Columbus in December,
Oh,
so
yeah,
they didn't win
technically,
every
it
game
was-
in December.
It was December 31st, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That doesn't count. In Europe, it would have been.
I was going to say, if you were in China, it would already been the next day, and it
Yeah.
doesn't count.
Special thanks to Eli Show for doing our album artwork. Special thanks to all of you listeners that listened to our Rogue One episode. It was our most downloaded episode that we've had so far. Special thanks to Kyle and Jordan, who keep doing the show with me, even though we make a real shit job of it every week. One of these days, we're going to have a fluid, perfect show where I won't have to edit anything out. Because, God, we are just getting longer and longer in the stuff that we have to cut. So.
It's cheaper than therapy.
As I mentioned before, our next episode, we're going to be covering our most anticipated games, movies, TV shows of 2017. Do you have any most anticipated movies, TV shows, or video games? Let us know. You can drop us a comment. Facebook.com, We Sound Like Nerds. Over at Twitter, at WSLN Podcast, using the hashtag We Sound Like Nerds. Let us know what you're looking forward to for 2017. Also, if you want to support the show, we're on Patreon, patreon.com/We Sound Like Nerds. Eventually, we'll get some commentaries of Kyle and Jordan watching stuff that Jordan's never seen before.
That's the plan.
Thanks for making this a very exciting 2016. I'm looking forward to doing the show all next year, so
We're just getting started.
yeah, we are just getting
You're
started.
stuck with us whether you want it or not.
You'd think after 2 months we'd have gotten started, but we are just getting started. Every week we're just getting started over and over again. For We Sound Like Nerds, I'm John.
This is Kyle.
And I'm Jordan.
See you next week, everybody.